Good Monday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love CVille Show. We're live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network. Christmas around the corner, hence the Christmas flair on the I Love CVille Show. Take a look now. Thank you kindly for joining us on this fantastic program. A lot to cover on the show. Folks, Congress and a bunch of old white people in the Senate finally put their agendas aside, and folks, we have a stimulus package that is on the very near horizon. Too little, too late, some would say. I choose to look at life from a more cautious, optimistic perspective. We will take a look at the stimulus package that is coming down the pipeline. Senators saying as early as next week, the money will hit your bank account. What does this mean for restaurants? What does this mean for music venues? Those in hospitality, those in the wedding business. We'll take a look at Congress in the final hour. I'm talking maybe extra innings, maybe overtime here. They're trying to come to the aid of Americans that absolutely need the aid. We'll lead with that on the show, but I think we're going to spend the most time on the listing that I posted across the I Love CVille Network on Friday afternoon. 224 Wine Street in North Downtown Charlottesville. An asking price of $589,000. The sticker price is not what got us talking. $589,000 homes sell in the city of Charlottesville every single day. It's not the sticker price. It's what you get for the money. And in 2020, at the end of the year during COVID, as people flood and flee cities and come to more appealing environments like Charlottesville and Central Virginia, you see a home with an asking price of $589,000 and square feet of just over 1,054 square feet to be exact, a two-bedroom, two-bath, at a price per square, $559 per square foot, goes under contract pending in less than 2 days. Less than 2 days. Much to the shock, much to the surprise, much to the chagrin of Charlottesvillians that watch and follow this network. We'll talk about that listing very detailed, and I'm going to offer you our perspective, my perspective, what I'm hearing and feeling from the market. Okay? Because I think it's going to be educational. I think it'd be informative. I think it can irritate you. But it's reality. We'll talk about that on the program. Virginia Tech's athletic department hemorrhaging $45 million for fiscal year 2021. We'll talk about how the athletic department is going to cut that hemorrhage and stop the bleeding, and what it actually means for staffers within the athletic department at Virginia Tech. They're getting their pay cut, guys. 10%. Some people getting their pay cut 10%. Okay? We'll talk about that on the program today. We'll also take a look at Charlottesville-Albemarle Airport, CHO, and the business that CHO has lost in 2020 due to COVID-19. Folks, CHO, the Charlottesville Airport, is my favorite airport in America. If you've ever been to the Charlottesville Airport, you know it's incredibly easy to navigate. You know you don't have to get there an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours before your flight. I've literally, when flying to our satellite office in New Jersey, I've literally gotten to this airport, and Judah Wickower can attest because he was on that flight with me. I literally got to Charlottesville-Albemarle Airport 9 minutes before my flight and was able to board the plane to hop on a plane with Judah to New Providence, New Jersey. So we'll take a look at CHO and how much its business has dropped in 2020 and what the future is for a beloved gem. Yes, it's expensive to fly at a CHO. I know it's expensive to fly at a CHO. But if you consider the time, the cost to park your vehicle at Dulles, the cost to drive to Dulles, maybe even Richmond, the cost to store the vehicle for X period of time, that cost is not as much as you would think. And there's nothing better than flying into CHO after a long week and know you don't have to do the 2.5 hour commute from Dulles back to Charlottesville. Okay? We'll talk about that today on the program. This show brought to you by a number of fantastic businesses in the community. One of our absolute favorites, Interstate Pest and Service Companies. Judah Wickower, a home's best friend with more than 50 years of serving the Charlottesville and Central Virginia community. Interstate Pest and Service Companies. Judah, the lead of the show has got to be a stimulus package that, frankly speaking, should have happened months ago. After months of delays, Congress has finally reached a deal on a $900 billion with a B in aid to Americans. The package includes direct checks to Americans at $600 a person. More on that in a minute. The package also includes relief for music venues. Independent music venues. Folks, the aspect of the package, and I'm calling it up literally as we speak, is called Save Our Stages Act. The Save Our Stages Act is a portion of this new stimulus package. This package also includes a tremendous round of PPP money. So the businesses, and it also includes funding for independent contractors. Okay? So finally, the old white people in Congress, finally, the old geezers who were sunning in the Hamptons, Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, and their Speedos while drinking umbrella drinks, sitting on stacks of paper because they're rich, yet their voters are not and are struggling. McConnell, Pelosi, and their followers bridge the aisle. They get rid of the two-piece from Nancy Pelosi and the Speedo butt huggers from Mitch McConnell. They put them to a side and they get the suits back on. And Sunday afternoon, after sunning in the Hamptons and drinking mocktails and cocktails with umbrellas, they choose to finally do some work. They choose to finally do some work. You watch CNBC this morning, they say the checks could hit accounts early as next week. You're a restaurant owner, you have a couple of opportunities here if you're a restaurant owner. You have another round of PPP money that you can pursue to help you get through the winter months. If you're a restaurant owner who hosts musicians, you have an opportunity for a second round of financing. That second round of financing is the Save Our Stages Act. If you're an independent contractor, a subcontractor, many musicians are, there's money for you here now. You were forgotten. Now there's money for the independent subcontractors. Okay? It's not the money that the first round of stimulus put out there. The first round of stimulus was $1,200 per adult under a certain income threshold, $75K or below. This is $600. As soon as you get above $75,000, the money gets eroded away. Once you hit $90 or $100K, you get nothing. The first round of stimulus money not only offered $1,200 a person, offered money for children. Offer money for children. This one does as well, not as much. A lot of people sour that this stimulus package took so long. You should be. A lot of people sour that this is not enough money. I understand your concern. How far can $600 go for you? I get it. But at least something happened. I didn't even think anything would. At least something happened. And the scuttlebutt, the chitter-chatter, the conversation, the hearsay is there's potentially a third on the horizon as Biden gets into office. Get your ducks in a row. Set your stuff up with the government and the IRS. Get the free money. And stop complaining. I didn't think this was going to happen. I didn't think this was going to happen. Put your thoughts in the comments section. Restaurants, from my standpoint, have two paths they can pursue. The PPP funding and the small music venue assistance funding. Someone like a Miller's on the downtown mall is undoubtedly a small music venue. Undoubtedly. You can make a legitimate argument that many of the restaurants in this community are small music venues. Pursue it. It might be gray and nebulous. Is a guitar player that's playing for your cocktail bar a music venue if you're a restaurant? Hell yeah. Be creative. You host musicians, you're a music venue, get the cash. You host a guitar player, you're a music venue, get the cash. You do karaoke, you're a music venue, get the cash. And then also go after the PPP. You got 2 dark months. I posted this on my friend's Matthew Gilligan's Facebook page. It gets darker before it gets brighter. January and February are going to be the worst of this situation. It will get darker before it gets brighter, but that's life. That is life. It always gets harder before there's brightness, positivity on the horizon. That's life. You know why it's done that way? Because it makes you appreciate the good times. 2020 is going to make all of us appreciate the good times. Now, I want to get into a topic that I think is going to hit close to home for you. What's up, John Miller? What's up, cousin John Miller in Virginia Beach? Give the show a like and a share anywhere you're watching. Hit the like button now. Share the show. Let's talk about a listing I posted on my Facebook page on Friday afternoon. Within 42 hours of me putting this on the most far-reaching platform in Central Virginia, the home went under contract. This is the second time we have positioned a quote-unquote tiny home on the I Love CVille Network in this calendar year, and it's gone under contract within 2 days. The second time. Okay? Folks said, why are you posting this? Why are you knocking this realtor's listing? Every realtor, it's in Central Virginia, would hope, cross their fingers, and ask for the exposure they got for what we did on Friday afternoon by letting people know this was for sale. Everyone would want the attention we gave them. Everyone would want it. The reason I brought it to your attention is for a number of reasons. It's a very dynamic topic. It's a dynamic topic for the following reasons. One, it shows what I think is a phenomenon that is not being covered enough. In my respective neighborhood, I have seen, and that's just one neighborhood, I've seen 4 families from the north, Northern Virginia, Baltimore, Northeast, 4 families all with kids, sell their homes somewhere north of Charlottesville on the eastern seaboard, make a stack of paper, a huge bag of money, take that huge bag of money down to Charlottesville, buy a home they never thought that they could afford in the Northeast. Here they're like, good God, look what I can get. Let's pay. Let's overpay. Who cares if it's a bidding war? We got this big bag of money. And they take the big bag of money, they bring it down here, and they buy homes. They buy homes at price points that are much lower than the Northeast. That means they're making money on the front end of the transaction of the house itself. Sell their home for a lot of money, come home and buy a home that's less, making money in the transaction. Second part, they're buying a home that's larger but has a lower monthly overhead than their one in the Northeast. The mortgage is less, the payment is less each month. Third, they're working virtually for a Northeastern or Northern Virginia company while living in Charlottesville. Their pay has not changed. They're on the same pay scale of a big city in the Northeast while living in Charlottesville. So take the 4 families, I'm not going to name any names, in my respective neighborhood. They sell their crib, they buy a new one in Charlottesville. The difference just goes into their bank account. Second, their monthly payment is lower. The difference just goes into their bank account. Third, they're earning a salary that's based on a big city and not Charlottesville. Yet they have Charlottesville overhead or cost of living. That means there's a positive delta of cash flow there. A third source of revenue and profit for the 4 families moving down here. The big bag of money and the house change where they're making potentially 6 figures just from selling a crib. Second, their mortgage payment is lower monthly. And third, they're earning a salary from a big city while spending on Charlottesville prices and cost of living, which is lower than the big city. These 4 families are making out like bandits right now. Like absolute bandits. The reason I bring that attention to you is because it's important to understand the dynamics in a real estate market like ours. 224 Wine Street has a 500, and start getting the photos on screen. Give me the thumbs up. I want you to see the pictures of the house. And then I'm going to show you a comparable home in a similar neighborhood that sold in early December for $470K. So I'm going to take the comp from early December that sold for $470K, and I'm going to compare that comp in the same neighborhood that sold for $470K versus this home that you got to think is pretty much selling at list price, if not more, if it goes under contract in 2 days. So get ready. Let's show them 224 Wine Street. Are the photos going? They are? Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. While you're looking at the screen, I'll give you the specs. Asking price $589,000. 2-bedroom, 2-bath, barely over 1,000 square feet. I think you could make a legitimate argument that this is pretty much a tiny home. It might be on the big side of tiny home, but 1,054 square feet is damn near close to a tiny home to me. It's got 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. The size of the lot is minuscule. I mean, absolutely minuscule. Okay? It has been totally gutted and redone. So it shows well from a photo standpoint. Total gut job, looks pretty damn good from a digital curb appeal standpoint. Digital curb appeal is paramount in 2021. Why is digital curb appeal paramount in 2021? Because if you're a family that's moving its home base from the Northeast to Charlottesville, you're going to fall in love with the crib first online. Now, I was talking with a friend today, and this friend said, for $589,000, you can build a brand new home, a 5-bedroom, brand new home. And I said, I don't think you can do that, okay? The cost of land in the city in Albemarle County is prohibitive of building a brand new home for $589,000 that's 5 bedrooms. You're going to have a hard time finding a brand new construction home because the land's so expensive in this area at that price point. I know firsthand because I'm in a home that's bigger than I frankly anticipated it being. 5,300 square feet, 5, potentially 6 bedrooms. And I'm going to straight up tell you this. The cost of maintaining a 5,300 square foot home on nearly an acre of land in Albemarle County is astronomical. The cost, I'll say it again, the cost of maintaining a 5,300 square foot home on nearly an acre of land in Albemarle County is a hell of a lot of money. So it's important to realize that today's buyers, they may not be as punch drunk with size and massive home. They may instead want something that is charming and intimate where they can spend a lot of their time outside the house enjoying downtown in Belmont and North Downtown. Very beautiful areas. This is located in North Downtown. Judah, get the Google map up so they can see where it's at. We have a Google map of North Downtown. Give me a heads up when that's going on. This is close to the baseball field in North Downtown, right off Perry Drive. The map's up. Look at the map. Look on screen. So here's what I got to say. Here's what I got to say. First, you got to ask yourself, is homes of 1,000 square feet for a $589,000 list price going pending and under contract in less than 48 hours, is that a good thing for us? Is that a good thing for Charlottesville and Central Virginia? Let's ask that question first. Is it good for us? I'm going to write it on my whiteboard. Is it good for us? The initial reaction would be, sure. If you own a home in the area and other homes are selling at this price point, there is a trickle-over effect that's going to drive incremental value for your respective piece of property. That's not a bad mindset to have. But I think we have to dig deeper. Please bear with me. When homes like this sell for price points close to $600K for 1,000 square feet, the neighborhood around the home will feel the impact first. This is a comp that will help justify other price points. For example, when I posted this on the network, I had 2 individual people, 2 individual parties that did not know the other, reach out to me and say, Jerry, I own a home on Wine Street. Jerry, I own a home on Perry Drive. Literally, they sent me direct messages. I have no idea who these freaking people are. They watched the show, and I'm grateful. They sent me direct messages. One of them's on Wine Street, one of them's on Perry Drive, which is connecting to Wine Street next to the ball field in North Downtown. They said, Jerry, we saw what you posted. We saw how quickly it went. My husband and I own a home on Perry. My husband and I and family own a home on Wine. Should we consider listing and selling now? Literally, they said that to me. My explanation to them was, are you considering selling strictly for money? And one of the parties said, I'm fearful there's a bubble on the horizon. And I said, why are you fearful there's a bubble on the horizon? They said, because this home is selling in 2 days from this price point and makes me nostalgic of 2008 and 2009 when the market was crazy. The difference between 2008 and 2009 and today is the bankers are not giving crappy loans to people that don't deserve them. The financing traditional from banks that's going out now is extremely well documented, well vetted financing. It's not like my Yeti cup with my name Miller on it, as my friend Keith Smith says, in 2008, this Yeti cup could have gotten a $400,000 loan. You could have gotten a $400,000 loan. I remember when I was out of UVA, working for the Daily Progress, making terrible money. I'm a UVA guy, loved sports, was a good writer and good at communicating, so I figured I'd be a journalist. This was 2005. UVA, the Daily Progress was paying me $10 an hour. $10 an hour, UVA guy. My parents were saying, what are you doing? I said, let me give this a try. $10 an hour. I worked in a pay structure that was $10 an hour out of UVA for a couple years, and I said, I'm tired of renting. I want to buy a house. This was 2007 when I started getting deep serious about it. Making not any money at all. $10 an hour. Went into Countrywide. I'm not going to say who it was. I went into Countrywide, who I believe is part of Bank of America now, and said, I want to buy a home. I had 3 different lenders sprint to me in the waiting room. They said, here's one loan vehicle, here's another loan vehicle, here's another loan vehicle, here's an adjustable rate, here's one that does 5, adjusts in 5, here's one that adjusts in 7. They were throwing money at me. This is someone in his mid-20s that was making $10 an hour, throwing money at me. I had no idea. I bought a condo at the Villas at Southern Ridge, down 5th Street Extended. That condo was purchased at the worst time possible, 2008. Real Estate 3 was marketing and promoting the Villas at Southern Ridge. It was an apartment conversion. The Villas at Southern Ridge was the place you never went on the south side of Charlottesville. It was sketchy, like super sketch. And then a developer came in and he converted them from apartments to condos. Banks were throwing money at me then. I bought one in 2008, the worst time possible. A 3-bedroom, 2-bath that was like 1,300 square feet, much more palatial than this Wine Street home. Like 200 square feet more, almost 300 square feet more than the Wine Street home. Long story short, I should never have been given the loan for this particular piece of property as someone in his mid-20s. Fortunately, I hustled, I scraped by, I was innovative, I was entrepreneurial, and I made it work. Now it's a real estate investment property that's free and clear of debt, and something that's being utilized to each month cover the debt on other properties as the rent comes in. I don't even touch it. I just take the rent and I throw it against other mortgages, and I pay those off faster. I guess where I'm going at is, now I don't think the bubble is going to be, I'm less concerned about a real estate bubble, because I know the people that are accruing, that are getting the mortgages have been vetted more carefully than 12 years ago. I'm less fearful of a bubble. I'm more fearful, however, of massive gentrification and how price points like this are going to encourage other folks on Wine Street to sell. Two individual parties reached out to me, one on Wine, one on Perry Drive, saying we should sell now after seeing this. If the family on Wine and the family on Perry pursue selling their home, potentially it's another out-of-town buyer. Potentially it's another bidding war. Potentially it's another 48-hour sale. And it's another comp that's going to drive up the value of the neighborhood. And you think driving up the value of the neighborhoods, it's good. It's good for the tax base. It's good for the tax revenue. It's good to get revenue into the municipality from real estate sales and transactions because that's something that could be thrown to schools or roads or City Hall. And in part, you're right. But the portion you're missing is the homogeneous impact it will have on the community. Expensive housing often correlates to a homogeneous demographic that's living in an area. Same people, looking the same, not diverse. Everybody's same skin color. Everybody in a similar path from a career standpoint. Maybe it's finance, maybe it's tech. If you don't see finance and tech having an incredible impact in Charlottesville and Central Virginia, you're not reading the tea leaves. And I'm going to cut to the chase. Are you ready for me to cut to the chase? I'm not going to BS anymore. You know who works in finance and tech? White men. You know who works in finance and tech? I'll say it again. White men. White men work in finance and tech. White men. Hey, it's white men. Men that are white. I don't want a community of just a bunch of white people. Do you? Not me. That's not what I want my son raised in. Now let's put Kelly Avenue. Everyone's like, this is freaking ridiculous. $589,000 for 1,000 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. What is the world coming to? Well, let's put a comparable on screen. Judah, do you got that comparable for me? Put Kelly Avenue on. You got that? You got that, J-Dubs? Yep. This is 611 Kelly Avenue. 611 Kelly Avenue is a comp or a comparable. I'm actually going to cool up Google Maps here. 611 Kelly Avenue, boys and girls. This is real estate. This is how you do it, okay? I mean, can you imagine if I took the following I had with I Love CVille and the skill set we had with digital media and social media and this network and launched a real estate company? I mean, I own real estate that I hold and rent. But I'm talking a buying and selling real estate company. Could you imagine that? Kelly Avenue is within a hop, skip, and a jump of Wine Street. And I would say you can get from Kelly Avenue to Wine Street in, what do you say, Judah, less than 5 minutes walking? Oh my gosh. You can get from Kelly Avenue to Wine Street in less than 4 minutes walking. This is a legit comp. Put the photos of Kelly Avenue on screen. Rotate them in. I'm going to show you Kelly Avenue in North Downtown that sold in early December for $470K. $470,000, public record. William Bailey was the agent through Real Estate 3 North. The buyer representation was Maury Atkins at Roy Wheeler Realty Zion Crossroads. Access to the MLS, you have a lot of power. $470,000 for this Kelly Avenue home. I want you to look. Are you rotating Kelly Avenue now? Yeah. Okay, look at the screen. Look at the screen. This is called the eye test. This is called digital curb appeal. Digital curb appeal. Are you looking at Kelly Avenue? I'm going to save any commentary about aesthetics on this and just be very politically correct right now because I don't want to insult anyone in this community. Kelly Avenue, as I'm being very politically correct right now, is a home that is in older shape. That is fair. I'm not insulting anybody who purchased or sold this home. The home is in older shape, and it has not been remodeled to 20 times. That's fair. I said it. I didn't insult you. I can factually say that without insulting you. Owners and buyers of Kelly Avenue. Sellers and buyers of Kelly Avenue. It hasn't been updated to 2021. Now, Judah, please, my friend, Judah Wickower, show the photos of 224 Wine Street, please, my friend. 224 Wine Street. Use your eyes. Compare and contrast. Here's 224 Wine Street that probably went under contract somewhere in the neighborhood of $589,000. The delta between 224 Wine Street and Kelly Avenue is a delta of approximately $120K. Why I'm bringing this up to you is this. Are you showing a Wine Street, my friend?
I am.
Thank you. I'm getting fired up. So if Kelly Avenue, an older home in downtown Charlottesville that has not been remodeled, legit comp Kelly Avenue is to Wine Street. Kelly Avenue has 2 bedrooms and only 1 bath. Wine Street had 2 bathrooms. Kelly Avenue is bigger. It's 1,500 square feet, where Wine Street was 1,000 and change. I could make a legitimate argument. Can you go back to me, please, on a one shot? I can make a legitimate argument on this program. I can't believe I'm saying this. I can make a legitimate argument on this program that $589,000, whatever the price is, it's public record. I will follow this closely. I have access to the MLS. I will follow it closely. I can make a legitimate argument that 224 Wine Street, if it closes at $589K, was underpriced, and should have been listed with a 6 in front of it. And here's the legitimate argument. Are you ready? A comp less than 4 minutes walking away from Wine Street that has 1 less bathroom, that has not been renovated at all, and the existence of the entire home. The home was built in 1957. The home has not been renovated. This comp that's less than 2 minutes walking away is $120,000 less than this one on Wine Street. Wine Street's been gutted completely. Wine Street is brand new. Wine Street went through the building permit process, the home remodeling process, the pain in the ass of remodeling a home. I can make a legitimate argument that a home that's sold in less than 48 hours, that's basically brand new, that's only $120K more than the home that's 3 minutes away that has never been renovated, I can make a legitimate argument that Wine Street's underpriced and should have had a 6 on it. Should have been listed at 6.25. Because if whoever bought Kelly Avenue, the home that needs remodeling for $470K, I'm going to bet you $100. I'm going to bet you $100. Are you ready for this? I'll bet you whoever bought $470,000 house on Kelly Avenue, the older home, I'll bet you they put a bone 50, maybe $200K into that house. They have to go through the building permit process, they have to find a remodeler, and then they have to do the BS of managing a remodeling project. And if they put $200K into that house, guess what that puts, if they put $150 in that house, guess what that puts them to? Just say $150. There's no way in hell they're going to do a remodeling job for $150 on that home that hasn't been touched since the 1950s. There's no way in hell they'll check in at $150,000 the remodeling project. Let's just say it does. Let's just say for the sake of a talk show that the remodeling cost is a bone 50. That takes the house from $470 plus $150 to $620. You can make a legitimate argument that Wine Street should have been listed at $620,000, maybe 6.25. Guys, times are changing in this town. And I'm telling you right now, wait till you see what happens with Dairy Central being finished. Wait till you see what happens when Co-Construct gets completely going down here. Wait till you see what happens when the ACAC parking lot is done and Apex is up and running. Wait till you see what happens when confidence returns and the vaccine is out. Charlottesville, it should not be underestimated the amount of obscene wealth that is in this community. Obscene wealth. You have people bringing bags of money to town and buying homes that are 1,000 square feet and paying nearly $600,000 for them. It's freaking nuts, man. It's nuts. It's freaking nuts. I'll talk about this with Keith Smith in about 3 minutes on today's program. Homes that trade at price points like this will have impacts on this community that we won't know for some time. Taxes, assessments, all up because it's transactions like this. All up. When the cost of owning a home goes up each year, even marginally, who it impacts the most is the folks that are on fixed incomes. You owe an extra $75 this month because your electric, your taxes, and your Comcast cable went up, but you're not working. You don't have a job, you're retired. Where's that extra $75 going to come from? Eventually, you die the death of 1,000 cuts. And dying the death of 1,000 cuts is the dryer went out. Taxes and assessments are up. Dominion's adding a couple points. Comcast is adding a point or two above the bill. And the death of 1,000 cuts translates to gentrification, a homogenous neighborhood, and frankly speaking, an all-white CVille. That's the bad. Sure, if you own a home, your value's upticking. God is not making any more land. We have a finite amount of land. If you have a piece, even if it's just a matchbox size piece of God's land, you got something. This topic came up on Friday before I posted the listing on Wine Street, which then went under contract 48 hours later. I asked Erica Sims, the Chief Executive Officer of the Maggie Walker Land Trust in Richmond, about Charlottesville and its affordability issues. This is someone in the business that's a CEO of a land trust in Richmond that's driving affordability. Listen to her answer here. Listen and learn. Judah, do you have that sound for me? Let's play that sound in 3. Let's play that sound in 2. Let's play that sound now. Running a land trust in a community like Richmond, it's very different than running a land trust in a community like Charlottesville or Central Virginia. It seems to me, and I don't want to assume, that's why I'm asking you this question, it seems to me, Erica, that the opportunity for land and acquisition for inventory is much more realistic than something like Charlottesville that is very landlocked and has very little inventory. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, so I would definitely agree with you on that front. We are in all 3 jurisdictions in the region, so Chesterfield and Henrico County, and then the city of Richmond. And we are, I would say, those 3 markets, while extremely hot and really their trajectories are growing, they're not at the level of unaffordability that Charlottesville is. The price points are not as high as Charlottesville. And so that means that each property that we do, I would imagine if we looked at the details, each property that we do costs less. So that means we can simply, have our money go further. However, Richmond is experiencing the same thing Charlottesville experiences in the sense that the year-over-year increases in home prices and speculative real estate prices is continually a shock here. And so the philanthropic community that we rely on to support us continues to have to be shocked by how expensive this work is. And so in that way, it's not very different from Charlottesville, and it really is about really educating people to understand what it takes financially to do this work within these markets that we operate in.
Great answer. All right, guys, we'll talk about this with Keith Smith shortly, friend of the program, the star of Real Talk, partner of the Yes Team Realtors, man behind the boutique brokerage Yes Realty Partners. He's going to join us in a matter of moments. I have 7 real estate firms watching the show now, including the firm that listed the home on Wine Street. Hello, Loring Woodruff and Associates. Welcome to the broadcast. Obviously, we're talking real estate. Obviously, we have a large following. A number of agents are offering their perspective on the show. One of them is a friend. I'm going to read his now. His name is Ray Cadell. Jerry, a minor matter, but it's something to emphasize. The seller of the home on Wine Street paid $5,000 of the purchaser's settlement cost on this deal. More power of the MLS. It's in there. Thank you, Ray Cadell, for sharing that. Seller paid $5,000 of closing costs. Ray Cadell, great agent right there. He's interested in hearing Keith's perspective on this as well. Ray says, I'm a free market kind of guy, and it's a seller and a buyer not under distress that have agreed on the value of this property. That's the definition of fair market value. I agree. I'm a free market guy, and this is fair market value. When someone tries to sell a home and someone wants to buy it and they agree on a price, that's the fair market. What happens if the fair market, though, is making the city all white rich people? Do we consider it, or do we let the fair market dynamics, the dynamics of a fair market, just play out and that's what we follow? I'm legitimately torn on that topic. And why I'm torn on that topic is because I'm a libertarian who owns a business that every day has to grind to make a living for his family and his team members. Work my ass off. But at the same time, since my son was born 3 years ago in March, my mindset has changed and it's become more, what is the word I'm looking for? My mindset has become, I'm a little softer. I'm a little less capitalistic. I'm more mindful of what's, this going to do for his life as he's growing up in the community that I picked for him to live in. Our kids don't choose where they live. We do for them. So it's up to us as mom and dad to pick an area or a community or a situation that's going to bring out the best in our offspring. And that's called parenting. Not thinking about yourself, but your kid first. And with that mindset of thinking Trey first, my kid, I don't want him to grow up in an all-white world. It's not good for his development. So as a free market guy, my perspective has been challenged. And I have internal strife. And my internal strife is directly correlated to the crossroads that is my libertarian fair market, medium-sized, small business, entrepreneurial mindset, and that of being a dad. See? And it creates internal strife. Andre Xavier, very soon. Andre Xavier is the co-founder of CVille Hop on Tours, A+ dude. Very soon, the entry-level cost of a single-family home in Charlottesville will be $450,000. $600,000 will be the average. I mean, it's hard to argue. It's hard to argue. Is the starter home in the city of Charlottesville? Does the starter home, single-family, detached, R1, it's not a townhome, not a condo, a detached home, single-family detached, is the starter home single-family detached in the city of Charlottesville? Does that product now have a 4 in front of it? Single-family detached. City of Charlottesville, starter. Does it now have a 4 in front of it? And is that starter? Does that mean people buying starter homes, first-time homes, no longer in their 20s like I did? Now in their late 30s and early 40s? And what does that do to somebody's sense of accomplishment or personal self-worth? You work your ass off and you can't afford to start the American dream of home ownership. What's that do for self-confidence and self-worth? A lot of perspective coming in. Terry, I love when Terry watches this program. Terry is at where end? Warren. She's watching in Columbia, Missouri. Terry, I mess up your name and I apologize, Terry. I love when you watch the show. Terry Warren says, thank you, Jerry Miller, for the visual of Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell in Speedos drinking mocktails and cocktails by the pool. You're welcome. You're welcome, Terry. What else were they freaking doing, right? They weren't helping Americans. Janitha Brown Douglas. Janitha, did I say your name right? If not, I apologize. Thank you for watching the show, Janitha. I love your Christmas attire, Jerry. You are awesome. Thanks for asking the hard questions. Yes, ma'am. Questions that aren't being asked. All right, I'm going to reach out to Keith. This has been a good show. I'm fired up today. My pits are sweating, Judah. I told Kelly Jackson and Jamie Schwartz that before Women Changing Our World this morning. I keep it 62 degrees in the studio because these lights are so freaking hot. And I sweat profusely. One of the reasons I'm wearing a jacket right now. So you don't see that I'm sweating profusely. Keith Smith, que pasa, Chico?
I'm sorry, but I can't get beyond that whole Speedo vision.
Oh, man, how are you? You wear Speedos,
I'm
don't
doing,
you?
No, I do not.
When's the last time you wore a Speedo?
I only wear spandex Batman outfits. That's all I do.
When's the last time you wore a Speedo? Ever?
I was probably your age.
All right. You have.
Dude, you're killing me. My notes. How the hell can I unpack, man? You were on fire, bro.
I'm going to get out of your way. Anywhere you want to go, anywhere you want to start. You have a hell of a lot of your colleagues watching now.
Got it. I got it. There's one thing that you missed on why people come out of the Northeast and come down, or from Northern Virginia come down here. Do you know what that is?
Is it interest rates being historically low?
Taxes.
Yeah, interest rates and taxes.
So the median taxes on Long Island has got a 2 in front of it. 20 grand, 30 grand.
My wife's uncle in a home similar size to ours is paying $32,000 a year in taxes. And I'll straight up say what my taxes are. I just paid it on December, 1st of December, 7th of December, whatever it is. Mine was $3,200 every 6 months. So I pay $6,400 a year in taxes. He paid over $32,000 for the same on Long Island.
So it's not uncommon for people in that part of the world to pay more in taxes than their mortgage payment.
Oh, that's a good point. Good point.
So that's what's happening here. You know, you're spot on. That we don't know who this buyer is, and we won't know until it's all over and closed and hit the records. But if I was a betting man, and you know that I am because we drank a bottle of Booker's together, this buyer profile probably looks a lot like me in age and so forth and so on. And they have sold their home somewhere up north or some other jurisdiction, put a substantial amount of cash in their pocket, buying it down. And you know what, brother? I could not have agreed with you more that Kelly Avenue is without a doubt less of a deal.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Kelly Avenue is way worse of a deal.
Absolutely. I would be counseling people if they were going to, between the two, assuming that they had the cash to do it and were capable to do it. You know, why do you want to do this? Believe me, I'm a recovering developer.
You know.
I know what these costs are. It was a heck of a deal. Actually, Yona and I looked at that house on Wine Street just about actually before it went out on your world, but I went and noticed it. You know, man, we're going to talk about this a little bit tomorrow. This is an on fire topic, but to address the diversity thing, and this is why I put in the hours I do on my volunteer work. This is the reason why I do it, and this is the reason why you can take just a quick set of numbers here. I did the North Downtown as you were articulating your position over the last 20 years, year over year. But this year, that downtown area, do you want to know what the median sales price is for the North Downtown?
Can I guess?
That's what I'm asking you, sir.
Median sales price in North Downtown in 2020?
2020.
I mean, I've got to say it has a 6 or a 7 in front of it.
It has a 645.
Yeah. I mean, so he's basically saying, what he's basically saying is, this is one of the most affordable houses you can find in the neighborhood, and it's been completely gutted, and it's ready to go right now. So you're basically saying this might be a deal.
Well, that being said, the median square footage is 2,000, so it's a little under on square footage. But look, you're spot on. Buyers want less, not more. But we're really starting to see that trend change, and it's really the buyer profile, right? And I hate to use the word profile, but that's what it is, the buyer profile. And more than likely, these are retirees, UVA grads coming back. Want to be in town, want to be close to UVA, where the first-time home buyer is doing just the opposite. They're doing what you and I talk all the time, and I hate this term, but it's true. They're driving to their qualifying. And if you're looking at this entry-level buyer, they're Lake Monticello, they're green. Nelson is on fire right now at 42% year-over-year growth, and going to the other side of the mountain. So that's where that buyer. That first-time home buyer, I disagree with you. I think the American dream is still very much so alive. You just need to drive a little bit to get there, unfortunately.
Can I throw this in here? I'm curious of this. This guy's a super smart man. Keith Smith, Yes Team Realtors. Keith Smith, Yes Team Realtors, the co-founder of Yes Realty Partners here. More on that in 2021. Keith, how much Kelly Avenue? Kelly Avenue is the older house. Put the photos of Kelly Avenue on screen with Keith's face on screen as well, and he's going to give us the play-by-play of Kelly Avenue, Judah Woodcower. Kelly Avenue, what do you think a ballpark is to get that house up to speed from a remodel? You think 152 is that light?
Oh no, it's over 2.
You think it's over 2?
Oh, without doubt. In order to get it to the level of Kelly Avenue, we talk about this all the time. It's just 5 things, brother. It's location, and then every location have micro locations. So if we were to take a look at Belmont versus North Downtown, those numbers would be different, right? It's price. And the 2 things we're talking about now, features and conditions. What is the feature? What is the condition? And then the last one that is a new one that I added into the time. What's the timing on this? And to answer the question for the folks on Wine Street, you couldn't ask for a better time to sell. On the flip side to that, it's something we've been talking about in Real Talk quite a bit, is where am I going to go, right? Now, am I moving out of the area? Am I going down to Florida or whatever? That's a different story. But where am I going to go? I'm selling this home. Where's my move?
I'm going to put you in contact after this show. I'm going to put you in contact with the guy who reached out to me on Wine Street. I told him I was going to do that. He said it was okay.
No, there's a lot of really qualified real estate agents watching the show. So
anybody
he's
being politically correct. He's saying anyone that's watching the show can get this. But I just got a text message from Keith Smith said you better freaking do that right now.
No,
I'm joking. Let me ask you this question, my friend.
Can't take you seriously with your little hat on.
What is the sale of a Wine Street at that price point do for the neighborhood?
So it raises your averages up, and that's what I was starting to take a look at. I was really curious on how things were going, and it was interesting. 2018, believe it or not, the median sales price was higher. It was $670. Less days on market too. 2018 had 6 days on market. 2020 has 14, and it actually had less sales. It had around 15. So actually, 2018 is going to outperform 2020 for that micro location, right? I didn't dig deep into the numbers, just very globally looking at the numbers. But the last time that area was what I consider a buyer's market, so that's over 90 days in my definition, was 2011.
Wow, that's a great stat. So I'm going to repeat that again. The last day from your metrics, and he's very good, Keith Smith, Yes Team Realtors, 2011, North Downtown had days on market that were over 90 days, and that in your ballpark, 30 plus years of doing this, is a buyer's market.
That was 262 days on market. It went from 262 and immediately dropped 2012 to under 100. So between 2011 and 2012 is when that change started going, and it dropped. It goes 50, 48, 28. It just keeps on going down. The days on market. Another interesting number. 2000 was 187 days on market. So it's just I remember, I've been doing this since 1987. I remember the conversation in the late 80s and the early 90s. Was this ever going to go higher? It just seems to be kind of doing that way. The Northeast buyer was always coming down into this. But at the end of the day, this is, again, why I put many, many hours in my volunteer work is to do that. So the median sales price in Charlottesville, Xavier's spot on. It's about 400 grand.
400 grand is the median sales price, 2020 City of
I
Charlottesville.
don't have the exact number from you. I'll have it for you tomorrow. But let's think about the land trust, and let's think about the conversation you had with the Maggie Walker and Erica, who's a home run. Do you know what the big difference between Charlottesville and Richmond is? The city of Richmond?
Richmond has a hell of a lot more inventory, housing, and things to do with.
And it has far more vacant and tax delinquent properties over 5 years. So what their model was is they would just the city would just take them over 5 years and hand them over to the land trust, and they do that. We have this many. We have zero to do that.
The city of Charlottesville does not have a single property that has not paid its taxes in 5 years or more.
No, that I could find on the record. Maybe somebody else is smarter than me can figure it out. But in my search of the records, prepping for today, I could not find any. It's surely not 3,000 because that's what's in Richmond.
Yeah. Okay. So that gives, and we love the Maggie Walker Land Trust. We love them, but that gives them an inherent market advantage over the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust.
Yeah, well, we're just two very different markets, my friend. What's the second highest cost of living in the state of Virginia? I know you know this question.
I'd say the second highest cost of living in the state of Virginia has got to be somewhere in northern Virginia. I would say it's Arlington, Alexandria, or McLean.
Charlottesville.
Okay, well, what's number one? Alexandria, Arlington, McLean?
Alexandria. We are the second
two.
highest cost.
Okay.
Number two. And that's what the numbers. But you're spot on for showcasing this. Well done. I know I'm eating up to a little bit too much time than we normally share together.
You can go as much as you want. I love you, Keith. Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, well, I'm trying not to laugh at you with the hat on.
Thank you. Wait till you see what I'm wearing tomorrow when you arrive.
Well, I have a hat for you tomorrow. I have a hat I'm going to wear, and it's a special thing if I'm putting a hat on my head.
Oh, my God. I'm messing my hair up right now. I was like, should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? I'm going to wear a full costume tomorrow.
Well, I'm just going to wear a little old hat. But it's interesting. I would encourage everybody to take their time and look at the numbers and crunch down on them. But, at the end of the day, if you take a medium sales price, let's say it's $350 at in Charlottesville. If we get involved with the land trust and we could take $100,000 of that off, which is the land, then we could sell it for $250. And that's what the beautiful model of it is that house for $350 or $400 or whatever it is next to the other. And there's two different diversity. And that's the best, in my opinion, that's the best way to create diversity is to try to get organizations like that in.
Tomorrow, Real Talk. What are you thinking?
I think we're just going to continue this conversation. I've been really digging into it, and we're going to talk about hats and wish everybody Merry Christmas. But this is a great topic that you clicked off. It's something that we've been talking on the show forever, and it's great to see to get some traction. But I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're just going to do. Apparently, Santa Claus.
And I'm the elf.
I was not going to say that.
You're Santa Claus. I mean, I got the elf.
Do I have a costume that I don't know about yet?
I have some stuff for you to wear tomorrow. Oh. I have an assortment or a plethora of Christmas flair for you to choose from.
This was not part of the pre-production.
I was going to pleasantly surprise you.
Okay, great. Thanks. Now I'm going to have a sleepless night because it can't be good. I was in a meeting the other day, and it tells you the depth and of the presence of what you do in the show and what we do in Real Talk. I was on a phone call with some people out west, out in Seattle and Portland on this thing that I do out there on it, and they were actually talking about the Batman show.
That was the best show we've ever done.
I bet, as God is my witness, I didn't even know these people. And they go, yeah, you're the guy. And I said, yeah, I'm the guy. I swear to God, true story. All righty, we're going to see you tomorrow. Great work today. Go ahead and maybe take a breather or something before we have our 1:45 meeting.
Oh,
You
I
need to
can't wait.
calm down.
I'll talk to you in
Great.
13 minutes.
13 minutes. All right. Thank you, everybody. See everybody tomorrow.
You
Thanks,
have a
guys.
good one. Keith Smith. Love
Bye-bye.
Keith Smith. Caitlin Mancini. Hello. Welcome to the program, Caitlin Mancini. Carol Thorpe. Hello. Wesley Amons is watching the show. Wesley Amons, along with Justin, are the owners of Duck Medic. They do fantastic work. From what I can tell, I have representatives from every real estate firm in Charlottesville that I know of watching the program right now. This topic will continue tomorrow on Real Talk. Tomorrow at 10:15. We showed you the dynamics of a micro market, one of the most appealing micro. I would make the argument, I think we can make from a micro market in the city of Charlottesville only, I think you can make a legitimate argument that North Downtown, someone correct me if I'm wrong, North Downtown, city of Charlottesville only, city limits only, most expensive place to live. Now you can say those row houses in between Beer Run and C&O down Water Street, you know those brownstones? Those brownstones are trading for like $1.2 million, $1.3 million, $1.4 million. Those brownstones are super dope, dude. I mean, like 4-level brownstones between Beer Run and C&O on Water Street. You know what I'm talking about? They are super dope. They have terraces, 4 levels, brand new, 1.4, 1. I wouldn't pay 1.4 or 1.5 to live there. I'm not knocking anyone that has. I think, is that a neighborhood? Is that with that strip of brownstones between Beer Run and Water Street, and Beer Run and C&O on Water Street? Is that considered a neighborhood? That's not Belmont, right? That's not Belmont, right? That's not North Downtown, right? Is the brownstones a neighborhood? Someone let me know in the feed. I think the most expensive, I don't think the brownstones are a neighborhood. I think it's just a row of brownstones. So I'm going to take the row of brownstones out. Just from a strictly neighborhood standpoint, the most expensive neighborhood in the city limits of Charlottesville is North Downtown. Second most expensive neighborhood in city limits, probably Belmont. Probably Belmont. What do you call the real estate around downtown? Like, because you got condos and some apartment, the high-end condos across from C&O on Water Street, the Water Street condos by the railroads, those are also expensive. They're just not trading very well right now. The DOMs on those are quite long. I'd say you could make a legitimate argument that North Downtown is the most expensive neighborhood to buy in the city of Charlottesville. I would say the ranking is like this, and someone correct me if I'm wrong. North Downtown is number 1. I'm using my whiteboard. Belmont neighborhood is 2. 3? What do you say? You know what? I made a mistake, dude. You know the mistake I forgot was the Rugby Road, the houses around Rugby Road in the university. All right, I think we're going to make I'm thinking about this on the fly. This is live on the fly right now. I'm going to say that Rugby, around the fraternities and the mansions is number 1. That Rugby neighborhood is number 1 from most expensive to live. Second most expensive to live, I'm going to say North Downtown, cost of homes to purchase. Number 3, I'm going to say is Belmont. I say those are your top 3 most expensive neighborhoods in the city of Charlottesville to live in. I mean, Greenbrier is not going to challenge Rugby, North Downtown, or Belmont. I'm calling the brownstones between Beer Run and Water Street just a strip of brownstones and not a neighborhood itself. I say your 3 most expensive neighborhoods in the city of Charlottesville are Rugby, North Downtown, and Belmont. Some of those homes on Rugby are like $2-3 million. Those are your 3 most expensive neighborhoods. What are your thoughts? Put it in the feed. Put it in the feed. Put it in the feed. Give us a like. Give us a share. Tell us what's going on. A couple items we want to get out of the notebook here on the I Love CVille Show. Is this, Judah? God, the housing topic is blowing up. I could spend the entire afternoon talking about this housing topic. There are so many comments. All right, let's get the other items out of the notebook, and I have a conference call in 8 minutes here. Charlottesville-Albemarle Regional Airport is down substantially for 2020. Just how down, I'll give you the number. It's bleak. 60 to 70% down traffic at Cho. 60 to 70% traffic down. The best traffic travel day of the year from Cho since the pandemic was the Sunday after Thanksgiving. That was the busiest travel day since the pandemic started at Cho. Business at this airport down 60 to 70%. I mean, mother. How about this one? Virginia Tech's athletic department for fiscal year 2021, Virginia Tech's athletic department projected a loss of $45 million. They are doing everything humanly possible to stop the bleeding and hemorrhaging that comes with a loss of $45 million in one fiscal year. They've managed to whittle that projection down to $24 million of hemorrhaging. How they are doing it is the ugly, old-fashioned, dirty way that pisses people off, and it's called furloughs and pay cuts. Virginia Tech, for any employee in its athletic department making $115,000 or more, $115K or more, they will face a 10% pay cut. If you make $65K to $115K, you get a 7.5% pay cut. $50K to $65K, you get a 5% pay cut. $40 to $50K, a 2.5% pay cut, and under $40,000, no pay cut. They're also cutting people's hours. I remember when I got a promotion at the Daily Progress, I was winning awards, Virginia Press Awards, as a writer for the Daily Progress. I was the youngest editor in the history of the Charlottesville Daily Progress after taking over for Chris Wright as the high school sports editor of the newspaper. I was 25 years old and managing people in their 60s. It was extremely challenging because they took me for granted and did not give me the respect I deserved because of my age. Certainly the 60-year-olds did. Finally, I said, look, it's going to be done my way, or you can find another job, and I'm going to allocate the jobs that I'm giving to you to somebody else if you start showing me with respect. You know what they did? They figured it out very quickly. And finally, 60-year-olds were staying in line with what the 25-year-old boss was saying. I remember going into the managing editor's office, and he said to me, Jerry, you're doing excellent work here. We're going to give you a promotion. Your promotion's going to include no new money. Your promotion's not going to have any pay bump. You're actually going to have to work more hours, but we'll give you a cool new job title. You want a cool new job title, right? And some new business cards? 3 weeks later, I quit and launched my company. Best decision I made besides marrying my wife. 3 weeks later, I quit, launched the company out of the condo at the villas at Southern Ridge, and the rest is history. Give me a promotion with no bump. All right, I'm going to close with this. Women can do stuff men cannot do. Women are stronger than men. Women are badasses. You want a microcosm of how badass women are? Take actress Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones. Actress Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones, the beautiful better half of Joe Jonas. She delivered and gave birth to her baby while wearing a mask throughout the entire birthing process. Delivering a baby, I saw it. I saw my wife do it at Martha Jefferson Hospital. I could not do that. I don't have the physical strength, the endurance or stamina to do what she did. Can you imagine delivering your baby and going through that process, the birthing process, while also wearing a mask? The entire time of the birth. That's badass. And she closes by saying this: if I can wear a mask while giving birth to my daughter, why can't you wear a mask in freaking Walmart? She's right. Sophie Turner, you are a badass. 24-year-old Game of Thrones actress and superstar gives birth to Joe Jonas's daughter The entire birthing process, she is masked up. Respect, respect. That's it. That's the show. My name is Jerry Miller. This is the I Love CVille Network, where we feature the best of Charlottesville, Virginia. It's local, it's local, it's local, and it's the topics that matter to you and your children and the future of our community. Thank you for joining us. Tell somebody now about this program. Tell them now. And like the show. That's all I ask for you, is to hit the like button and share it. I worked my ass off for this. All I ask of you is to hit the like button and share it. We'll see you tomorrow at 10:15 with Real Talk, with more conversations on how real estate is changing the dynamics in Charlottesville and across Central Virginia. You guys have a good one.